lot of truth, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of good advice. Now, let's hear also from a great man from Nigeria, one that has Nigeria in his heart since his birth, I'm sure, and has been doing a lot for Nigeria and Africa, Dr. Tukur.
Your Excellency, the former Prime Minister of Canada, members of the National Working Committee of the great party, the PDP, here is my party, so I have to acknowledge them coming here to support me. Captain of Industries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing I would say here that has not been said for the past 2 days. But it's always also good to continue repeating good things, as he said, so that people will understand. I like the Prime Minister's opening address. People may not know. We have to tell them. So we are here to tell the Canadians the opportunities that are now calling in Nigeria and by extension, Africa, which I believe now should be the last frontier of investment in our global setting. I am honored and delighted for the privilege to address this August gathering, to share my views and opinion on a subject matter that I consider bold and exciting, and on the whole, well-meaning. I thank His Excellency Ojoma Dweke, CFR, our resourceful and dynamic High Commissioner, for this invitation. I've been coming to Canada for the past 10 years, mostly, but I've not seen, through the time coming here, with the kind of gathering, of quality, of resourcefulness, of understanding, as I've seen here for the past 2 days. I also wish to thank the local organizing committee of this conference, as well as the entire management of the Nigerian High Commission, for the honor to be part of this momentous occasion in the annals of bilateral and economic relations between Nigeria and Canada. Canada is a highly esteemed country in the Committee of Nations. It is a country adjudged by the famous Forbes magazine as the best country to do business with, and also rated the best managed economy in 2012. Congratulations, Canadians. Nigeria, on the other hand, is equally a force to reckon with, considering its huge human resource and natural endowment. The Goldman Sachs 2050 projection state that Nigeria has a growth potential of becoming not only the largest economy in Africa, but also the 12th largest in the world by 2050, ahead of Korea, Italy, and similar economies. Market. The Nigeria and Canada signed a landmark agreement in April 2012 to establish a binational commission aimed at maximizing trade and investment in the two countries from 682 million they've done today 3 billion, which is a good thing to do. It's a good mark for us coming together and agreeing after a short time period to move that kind of economy and trade from that kind of figure. The foregoing record is an impressive one by all standards. I therefore consider this conference as a forerunner for things to come. I look forward to it yielding greater results for mutual benefit for the two countries. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to start my remarks by reassuring notes of a good tidings from the good people of Nigeria to the good people of Canada. As chairman of the ruling party in Nigeria, I make bold to say that Nigeria is on the path to greatness in spite of its present challenges. Politics is good for business, and business is good for politics. The basis for this great optimism of mine derives from the simple fact that history is replete with evidences that for every adverse situation, for every challenge, and for every problem in human society, there's always a solution and an inherent opportunity if only people can look out for the silver lining in every dark cloud. The government of Nigeria, led by the People's Democratic Party, my party, is putting in appreciable effort to unlock the potential of the nation by coming up with innovative transformation strategies, by providing an environment that is most congenial to investment. Cognizant of the fact that this conference is predicated on the commendably huge commitment of the people and government of Nigeria to encourage investors to look out for the silver lining in the nation's socio-economic landscape. Let me therefore launch into the issue in focus. In my assigned topic, with a view to providing the essential additional template for the conference, it is risk and opportunity. There is no gain without pain. Risk is simply defined as a situation that could engender danger or bad outcome and connotes the possibility of something bad happening. Opportunity, on the other hand, refers to the existence of circumstances or particular situation which is congenial for the achievement of a good result or outcome in an endeavor. Speaking from the perspective of someone with an appreciable private sector experience and a robust worldview, I appreciate the fact that while looking out for the silver lining in any given investment environment destination, every investor would, as a matter of wise business sense and rational thinking, also consider the risk factor of that potential investment destination. Some of the risk factors which have hitherto been the predominant worries of business community and potential investors about Nigerian economic landscape over the years include, among others, the challenge of energy, power, and infrastructure deficit, which hinders growth, slow legal reform and poor enforcement of laws, inadequate access to medium and long-term finance and high interest rate, volatile and unpredictable economic policies, lack of effective regulatory framework for economic activities, the challenges of corruption, as well as challenges of insecurity. Nigeria, with an estimated population of 160 million, that is the largest African country and has 1/6 of the world black population. In spite of all these challenges, that opportunity exists. Therefore, since there is no gain without pain, I think Canadians and Nigerians will put their heads together and solve the problems that hinders investment. That's what you have been doing here. Our Vice President yesterday and the ministers, all of them in their respective discourse, have put forward these challenges and also the opportunities. But the country is blessed with a huge arable land, with barely a little over 30% being cultivated. You know, God is so kind. What He gives to Canada, to America, to Nigeria, He's given also to Nigeria. Land, water, and people. Call environment. Like cooking a soup. If you select your ingredient correctly, you will be able to cook a very nice soup. Ladies can tell you that. Meaning, in effect, if you can educate your people, education is the factor, which Canadians have done, Nigerians equally can do, it means that you can take control of these elements and scale those challenges. Nigeria quest for education. If you get educated people, they know that that water which God gave us free, they can turn it to hydro and give power to share industries, which is possible. If they're clever enough, they can look at the sun, plenty, and have solar, also energy, to solve it, together with the Canadians and the Nigerians, with good educated people around, with the environment sustainability being the cause. All these challenges of power, inadequacy, and so on will be a thing of the past. Both countries share one or two things in common. While China had the largest population, over 1.4 billion, representing over 20% of the world population, Nigeria is the most populous nation in Africa, and indeed the most populous black nation in the world. At the moment, people talk about Chinese development, quick growth, sometimes over 10%, with this large population. Why is it possible Chinese have done so? If Chinese can leapfrog with all the difficulties and achieve 10% growth consistently, no reason why Canadians and Nigerians cannot do equally the same, even better. But it needs investment. It needs scaling over these challenges I've mentioned. They are there. This is why we talk about risk and opportunity. They go together. Today, China is the toast of the world economy, accounting for the highest FDI funding in the emerging market of the world, thanks to our regime of impressive reform, which sought out the silver lining in their cloud. Reform is what Nigeria is doing now. Reform in all sectors. Reform in education, reform in agriculture, reform in infrastructure, etc., etc. This can only be done with also the involvement, participation of the rich countries like yours. Canada is very rich in resources, both in terms of knowledge, capacity, and finance. Together, you can exploit that rich environment which Nigeria also offers. Like China, Nigeria has over the years grappled with our own peculiar challenge, but the good news is that regime of reform in Nigeria that began a decade ago is being consolidated by the PDP-led government. Our government believes in democracy, which the Prime Minister have now said he witnessed election, are judged fair and free, and that continue under our leadership. We believe that with the reform agenda, our President Goodluck Jonathan, sky is the limit. Young, educated, and humble, wanting to bring, beckoning all necessary investment into the country. Certainly, with this kind of attitude, it is an opportunity that we should not lose. The present government in Nigeria has additionally embarked upon key areas of strategic reform that are critical to trade and investment in line with its well-thought-out transformation agenda and Vision 2020 roadmap. Most of these reforms have been noted in the key address of His Excellency Architect Namadi Sambo, GCON, our Vice President, and representation of honorable ministers of national planning and trade. Some of you have been here yesterday could see how motivated, how passionate some of the this thing, almost out of anger. You can see our Minister of Trade really shaking and telling everybody, because he believes in it. It's a matter of belief. He believes what he's telling you and it is right. So the demonstration of his commitment to economic development, the present government has created a trade and investment ministry with the mandate of scaling up foreign investment in the economy. The ministry has already achieved an impressive record of foreign direct investment, meeting over $8.2 billion worth of investment into the Nigerian economy. Also, a number of reform programs are going on in other sectors, such as improved visa policy, ports and custom reform to ensure efficiency, reduction in time for clearance of goods, as well as enthronement of international best practices, among other positive initiatives of government. It's part of the thing to do. It's part of the thing to do is to look at your deficit and address them, always including the value, so you continue scaling up. Moreover, the government is also making increased funding in addressing the expansion of electricity and power industry, which is now private sector driven, while the gas deficit in the country is gradually being bridged. As such, cost of doing business in Nigeria will ultimately be significantly reduced. So competitiveness become the word, competitiveness. They can come and partner and compete with other economies because the condition is right. All the impediments that will make the cost of business expensive is addressed and removed. The transport sector, which is the critical to economic development, is experiencing an unprecedented transformation. A great amount of investment has been made in reviving critical infrastructure in the area of road, water transportation, and railways, among others. If your transportation system is not taken care of, you can be sure it's just like a human being with a clogged circulation in his own system. They say, oh, the blood circulation, which from top to bottom, unless it's going right, there is no way we can feel better. So with improved transportation, you can be sure your investment will be in the right hands and is in the right perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, it will interest you to note that inflation rate is dropping in the country and the economy is recording impressive growth. Government, in addition to also making commendable investment in education, as a number of higher institutions has been increased to cater for the need of the public. Education is key. As I mentioned, these three things we were endowed with: land, water, and people. Education is the key to all, because of the knowledge. Once we need investment in education. The Chinese way of doing it, because they have done well, that's the reason why they were able to really improve in their own delivery, because they really help in educating their own people nearly to 80% literacy. That is commendable. Well, as I promise you, nothing I will say here that has not been said. But your trust, confidence, and belief is what I want. What you have now heard here, you believe. They said, what the head thought of, the heart believe, the hand will achieve. So let us make sure we follow this conference and make it a very profitable conference by following the implementation of what we have taken here and believe in. Nigeria is open for business. Let the Canada come and do it. Now, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, why would any interested Canadian investor not come to Nigeria and simply turn the risk into opportunity? It's a simple statement. Of course, it requires what I have said. Any businessman will weigh the two. If you listen carefully what our Vice President said yesterday, everything has been doled out. Impediments removed in the way of investment and development. So, African market, which by extension is the Nigerian market, imagine West Africa alone, where Nigeria belongs as a region, part of a region, over 300 million people have their need wetted. Irreducible minimum of that will be huge. Happy destination is waiting those who venture to jump on the Nigerian opportunity train. Good luck to those who defy the risk and embrace opportunity. Good luck is our name. Thank you.
very much. Very well. Thank you very much. That's great. Good. Forgot about that. I've got to. No problem. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the next session will be also extraordinary. The next session we're going to talk about people who have really succeeded in Africa, in Nigeria, why they did, how they did it, what's their recipe, what's their secret, and I think that's the time to discover those secrets. And I want also to thank very much Aliko Dangote, who is not here today, but I think maybe later, we don't know. Aliko Dangote, a great man of Nigeria, was a sponsor for the lunch today. So I think we have really to thank him for that. So without any further delay, I'd like the next panel to come up, Mr. Charles Fitzpatrick, Mr. Peter Kieran, Mr. and Mrs. Odi Kokiagu, CEO of TrueQuest, and Charles, Dr. Issa Odidi. I don't know if Issa is here, but he will come later if he's not now. And Peter Sutherland. Is Peter in? Peter? Oh, right here. Come. Peter would be the moderator. So we will start within the next 3 minutes. 2 minutes. So you remember yesterday we had an hour and a half delay. Now we have only 3 minutes delay, which is quite good. We'll finish on time. It's my commitment.